Welcome back everybody to the channel. Another Swiss Scissor one video. In today's video, we are at New York's LaGuardia Ghetto Airport in an A320, and it's the 15th of December, which means only one thing, yes. In today's video, it is definitely time to talk a little bit about US Airways Flight 1549er again, which happened on January 15th, 13 years ago in 2009. And we all know this case, of course I hope so. Yeah, what happened here was an A320 had a bird strike, of course. We all know the legendary scenes.
Birds. Whoa.
Yes, everybody. This is a movie that you should definitely watch, by the way, Sully, from 2016, which very, very well tells the story of this interesting plane crash. In today's video, let's go ahead and do that too. Because, you know, a few months ago, this interesting add-on here was released, which actually, this is kind of like a mission. And what this interesting landing challenge basically is it very well recreates the exact scenario of what happened here in this crash on, here as you can see, US Airways. And yes, this interesting add-on just gives us all the opportunity to just be a Sully, at least virtually. We are all in our hearts. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, go ahead and recreate this crash and maybe also find some other ways how they could have saved the aeroplane. Maybe not land into the Hudson River, something like that. I don't know. No, the way this add-on works is fairly simple. Here we just have to press here, and here we can already see what our interesting landing spot is going to be. Take the seat of pilot Chelsea Sullenberger on US Airways Flight 1559er. You're scheduled to fly from LaGuardia, New York to Charlotte Douglas in North Carolina, and you are at 2,000 feet and climbing just after takeoff from runway 4, and then we're in the pilot seat. All right, everyone, let's go. Fly. All right, so welcome aboard our A320. Now, I didn't really put in the effort to install the US Airways livery, but that's another story. Anyway, we're here on an A320 indeed, and what you can see is that this plane actually does fly still very nicely. You know, a very nicely working plane. What we cannot see right here with this add-on, by the way, though, is of course the birds hitting the aeroplane, because that's just simply not implemented or supported in the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. All we will experience is just a dead engine failure. All right. Anyway, we're just right now still departing out of LaGuardia's airport. Here we go. That's the airport, and we're actually climbing quite nicely. But then suddenly, oh no! Oh, we've already left. Okay, we've lost both engines now. Great. Now there are several ways to deal with an emergency like this. I mean, we've seen some tutorials by some YouTubers, and we've learned a lot. All right. Anyway, another tutorial we all know is, of course, Sully Sullenberger himself landing the aeroplane now in the Hudson River after deciding that it wouldn't be a very smart idea to go back to the LaGuardia airport or maybe try to reach some other airports like Teterboro, which is in the area. No. Sully Sullenberger quickly realized that his only option to get this plane landed somewhat safely is in the river of Hudson. So let's go ahead and do that as well. We have a nice, beautiful sunrise right here. Of course, the flight happened in the morning of the December 15. Okay. Now, the thing is, of course, ditching a plane into water is not easy at all. It's very dangerous. It's very stupid. There's such a high possibility it's just going to break apart and everyone's going to die. That's great. So let's maybe try to do this right here. Now, we've got some boats right here. We might just want to not crash into those. What's really important for this landing especially is that we do not like bounce or anything on the water. The water physics in the flight simulator aren't all too perfect. So maybe let's try to make this right here. Good. Come on. All right. It's been a touchdown. Okay, that was a bounce. That was a little bit of a bounce, but I think quite a smooth landing. There we go. Here we go. We have landed indeed. What has this landing been like? Of course, we get a score from this landing challenge. Hello? Where's my score? There's supposed to be a score now. Did we land a little bit too early? Maybe it didn't recognize it as a landing. That's been a great one. By the way, yes, I think I did land a little bit too early, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, no, let's maybe now try to maybe, you know, examine some other ways Sully Sullenberger could have dealt with this interesting bird strike emergency. Jumping out could have been an option, like seriously. Wouldn't have been very social for the passengers or the city or literally anyone. But anyway, that's another story. What I do want to try first is, of course, returning back to LaGuardia's airport, because, you know, that actually does seem like the most viable option. It's right here. We now to try to return back to the airport. A little bit of a steep turn right here. Can we make this? I mean, we are at 5,000 feet, which is a little bit of, you know, proper altitude. Now, with this turn, by the way, alone, we've literally lost 2,000 feet already. This is not going to be super easy of a landing for sure. Runways down here, looking good. Let's maybe try to put the landing gear down. Is that possible already? Or is there a problem with the rammer turbine? Okay, there is a problem with the rammer turbine. Come on, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Yeah, that's like the thing about the Flight Simulator as well. There is no rammer turbine, so we're just gonna land this without any landing gear right here. And as you can see, though, we're kind of making it back to the runway, aren't we? The frames per second as well, my goodness. But anyway, let's maybe try to do this belly landing right here. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted by the fact that we couldn't get the landing gear out. But here we go. Would have definitely been a safer alternative than the Hudson River. At first glance, at least. There you go. That's been the landing. Yeah, that landing worked actually quite well, but the thing is, what you have to, of course, always think about in an emergency situation is, I mean, here in the simulation, in the recreation, I, you know, pretty much right after the engine failed, turned to the right to the airport, right? And you know, that whole timing thing is, of course, a big deal, because in real life, of course, a pilot would never really react this fast. You know, you would always, you know, have your procedures. Oh no, engine failure procedure, get the checklist out, try out some stuff, which makes you lose at least 30 seconds before you come to the decision at least to, you know, return back to the airport with a turn. So in a real kind of scenario, we should probably, you know, wait for like 30 seconds right here until we can like properly turn around for the landing. Maybe try to do that. Yes, that's been a little bit of wait right here. Yeah, let's maybe try a left turn because that seems to make a little bit more sense. All right, come on. I mean, you know, this is definitely a very stressful situation, of course. I mean, the thing is, you are literally in the middle of a big city, New York. Like, if you crash here, there's a good chance you're also going to crash into a house, right? So returning back to this LaGuardia place, which honestly, I mean, in the first place, it's such a ghetto place you shouldn't really ever want to go ever again. So that's, you know, also kind of a bonus point for the river. But no, really, crashing here, which would probably be like, what is this, Soho or something like that, would be probably a very, very bad idea. Anyway, let's maybe try to come back in for the landing now. Now, of course, by the way, the way I'm dealing with this interesting emergency is not at all like realistic or professional. You know, I'm not holding my best gliding speed or anything. I'm just kind of trying to somewhat do this. I don't really fly the A320 that much. And as it seems, we're kind of actually making it back to the airport, aren't we? Interesting. Anyway, it's now time to come in back for a belly landing. I mean, again, the rammer turbine of the Flight Simulator isn't really a thing. The whole idea of a rammer turbine is not really a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 friendly thing. All right, anyway, let's maybe try to come in for a landing. Wait, why are we making this? The thing is, in the movie, right, there was, of course... all right, let's maybe try to land first. My God, why am I messing up these landings? I landed in the Hudson way better than I did here on these proper runways. Okay, it's been a good landing. Yeah, you know, these belly landings are very easy to somewhat survive. That's been great. But actually in the movie, they tried to recreate this in a very good flight simulator, in a professional flight simulator. And in that movie, they actually never made it back to the airport. Maybe I'm just too good of a pilot, honestly, for this. Great challenge, everybody. I don't know. All right, now another thing we can do here to play around with this a little bit. Let me turn off the engines before the birds crash into us. I think that could be quite a boss thing to do. But yeah, like as it comes to, you know, exploring some other ways they could have saved the aeroplane, I don't really know. Maybe land on this bridge that we have here crossing the Hudson River. Let's come in. Uh-oh. Oh, wing, wing, wing. Okay, almost clipped that wing right there. All right, let's go in and land on this bridge. That hasn't really worked, has it? Yeah, what a great video this is, I've just noticed. Yeah, Hudson probably was pretty much the best idea. And I mean, everyone survived this landing, so there's no problem behind this. I mean, the only thing that didn't survive was the plane or the birds that hit it anyway. So yeah, guys, 13 years anniversary. I think we should make a video every year now on the 15th of December about this interesting case. Maybe a little bit of a yearly tradition, kind of like Christmas with a plane crash. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. Now, thank you to all my members here on YouTube like Spice, Robbie, Middle Aged, Levi, Junk in the Trunk, Mubarak, Darren K, Oh Man, Moritz, John, Kelly Chaos, Death Rider, Ragings, Noah, Yes Aviation, British 001, Saturn, Cat, Suno, Shadow, New York, and Jackie Boy.